8 months ago, I pressed record on this camera, not knowing what I was going to be doing, not knowing what the hell I was doing, pressing record and wondering if anyone would tune in. And now, 8 months later, the rest is history. Thank you for joining me on Mornings LA with your second stimulus check and second stimulus package update, your state stimulus check and state stimulus update, and your third stimulus check and third stimulus package update. This is the start of a new day, a new experience, and a new beginning as we begin mornings on the West Coast. It's shortly a little bit before 9 o'clock. I think I'm a little bit late. Sorry about that. But Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you for everyone who joined me on the live Merry Christmas celebration last night. Purple Power went live and became a Christmas celebration of stimulus and tamales. And I cannot, I'm no joke, no joke. As soon as I got offline and ended the recording, I went on Twitter and guess what was trending number one in Los Angeles? Stimulus checks and tamales. No joke. So whether your tamale is a pine or a guava, apparently, which I have never tried, or your tamale is the red sauce or the green sauce, Merry Christmas, and thank you for joining me for this special live recording here direct from Los Angeles. There's big updates about your second stimulus check and second stimulus package this morning, as the bill is now enrolled. Enrolled? Are they going back to Chris? Are they going back to school? Nancy and her flock of sheep are now enrolled. I don't enrolled in anger management. What are they enrolled in? Something's enrolled, and I will get to what the word enrolled, a bill enrolled is, and I don't mean rolled like sushi roll. I mean enrolled. Your stimulus check bill is now enrolled and has been sent to Miami. It has been sent and enrolled. What does all this mean? Spoiler, it means nothing. It's just a lot of fancy words for Christmas. Meantime, in its true spirit of keeping you up to date by the minute, around the clock, 24/7, no one does it better than me. Please subscribe to this channel. Please also go to the Funniest channel and hit the subscribe button and the little bell, the alert button, so you do not miss a video when we're going live. You see, sometimes I go live, sometimes I go taped. I almost did an extra live broadcast, but didn't have time because of the breaking news coming out of Nashville. A major explosion has hit downtown Nashville of international incident belief. A RV truck was parked outside of basically a low-level sky-rise commercial building in downtown Nashville, caused an explosion, and multiple buildings are now damaged. Several individuals are injured. No deaths are yet reported. Of course, business was shuttered because of Christmas Day. Nashville, as you know, is one of the cities I talk about on a regular basis, 2, 3 times a day, as one of the cities that has state stimulus. There is a rent stimulus for Nashville. I talk about that every day, along with Harrisburg and Atlanta. More about that later. But sending my wishes and spirits to law enforcement, fire and rescue, and to the people of Nashville dealing with this calamity of international belief, currently, says law enforcement, hitting earlier this morning. Let's go back to your state stimulus, to your second stimulus and second stimulus check, your $2,000 stimulus check, the enrollment, the enrolled, and sending things in the mail. I love when elected officials try to make themselves seem more superior by using fancy words so you feel ignorant. That's how I felt. Did you feel that way? I felt that way. Enrolled, what does enrolled mean? Do I have to go look up something again? I've had enough time looking up CRs and pocket vetoes to last me a lifetime. Now I'm looking up the word enrolled. What does enrolled mean? It means much of nothing. All it means is when the bill was passed by act of Congress, they added in there like an add-on, like some adding of extra snowflakes on top. They added on top of it an add-on so that the federal government would stay open till this Sunday to give the president some time to look at the bill. So enrolled or enrollment means the addition of additional time to keep the federal government opening rather than doing a stopgap or extension of time to allow the president time to look at the bill rather than closing. So as you had heard over the last few days, I was like, is the government shut down? Because, if the government shut down, then Santa should not stop at Nancy's house. But, If it's open, he should do the same thing as well. But the bill is enrolled. It has been enrolled since last week. Not rolled up, but enrolled. And we just were not told about that. And Broadcast News was wondering the government was shut down. So you have to Sunday for the government to shut down. So that's the first thing. Nancy said the bill's enrolled. Thank you. We sort of presume that. Just don't use those complicated words. The next question is, why did Nancy say she's sending off the bill now? That caused a lot of confusion. She made it sound like there was a new bill going off to the president, and she said it after the vote on the amendment that yesterday. After they voted on the amended bill, she said, "I'm sending off the bill enrolled." That sort of sounds like you're sending off what you just voted on. No, again, bad wording. She did not send off yesterday's amended bill, which didn't pass. She sent off the bill from last week. And what do you mean sent it off? Now, again, this is very high dramatics. The bill from last week, once it passed, I think what day was it? Tuesday this week. Well, this week. What do I mean last week? This week. Was it Tuesday or Monday? I can't even remember what day it is. The day that it was passed, it was sent to the president's office and the Oval Office. It was sent. Now, this is 2020. You don't literally have to print out the document and send it over. But they still do. But you could download it off the internet in 10 seconds and read the PDF. And certainly that's what the president did on Tuesday or Wednesday when it was passed by Congress. But uh, yesterday or 2 days ago, Nancy mailed the bill, printed the bill, and mailed it or messenger it. No, let me make it even more dramatic. She put it on a private U.S. jet to Mar-a-Lago. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Your U.S. tax dollars are being spent to send a 5,000-page bill to Mar-a-Lago on a private jet when you could just send the PDF by email. So to recap, when Nancy said, your bill is now enrolled and I'm sending it off to the president, well, what she's basically saying is the same thing he had by email on Monday is now arriving in paper form in Mar-a-Lago. So there is nothing different. Yeah, it's a waste of American tax dollars, and it's also causing people confusion and trying to make yourself look pedantic and elitist on the Christmas holiday. Merry Christmas, Nancy. So your bill is enrolled and it's in the mail. Okay, or no, on private jet. Yeah. So to recap, then where are we? We are the same place we were on Monday or Tuesday, functionally, procedurally. The bill is, on his desk in D.C., on his desk in Mar-a-Lago, in the air, in his email box. It's somewhere for him to read. He has read it, and he has till Sunday to make a decision about what he wants to do. Sunday, the federal government will shut down. So Sunday, the federal government will shut down, and the enrollment will end. Oh, don't you love how you did that? The enrollment will end. Yes. Then Nancy and the rest of the class stays back another grade and goes into kindergarten. Okay. Um, what is in the enrolled bill? I haven't done this for a few days, so let me go over this because we do talk about the $2,000 stimulus check, but there's more in there, and it's important to recap certain things like this because it causes confusion. It is very confusing what's in here. We did it for about 2 days or a day and a half, and then suddenly we got involved with these amendments. The bill, of course, that he has, let me make clear, the bill that is enrolled is not the $2,000 stimulus check. I misstated a second ago. The bill that is enrolled or being shipped in the mail on the private jet or landing on Mar-a-Lago's table in the lobby or arriving in the Oval Office, that's not the $2,000 stimulus check bill. That's the 600. That's the original one. That's the one whose summary I have in front of me. That's the $600 stimulus check bill. That is $600 for individuals, $1,200 for married couples, $600 for children 17 years of age or younger. And if you're on SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Rural Benefits, you would get a stimulus check of $600 if you are not an adult dependent. There is an income level threshold. The income level threshold is $75,000 a year per year for 2019. So if you made Nancy's money last year, you're not getting a stimulus check. $1,200 for married couple, $150,000 for married couples. And the number of people in the family is a family of four. So that means if you're a single parent, three kids could get stimulus checks, and if you're a married couple, two kids can get stimulus checks. Again, the bill that the president still has on his table enrolled is the $600 stimulus check bill. He has till Sunday. Again, the most for a family is $2,400. Um, just an aside, I saw the number $2,400. This is sort of where we have been all throughout the last week. Is there was that one day that Bernie Sanders says, "Well, families are getting $2,400, so it's better than nothing." Well, remember, $2,400 is $600 times four. I love when politicians take the smallest number and multiply it by the family of four to make it look like it's bigger. It's not $2,400 a person. It's $600 a person with a family of four up to $2,400. Your PUA and UI, uh, your PUA and PEUC, which covers UI, is set to expire on Sunday, the 27th, also the day of the enrollment. The bill would provide more weeks to continue you covered all the way to March 14th of next year. That's 30, that is what's really needed. Um, the maximum number of weeks for PUC or PUA would be 50 weeks. To make that very clear, um, PUC is a federal program that extends your UI weeks. PUA is a program that provides you coverage if you're an independent contractor or sole practitioner. The maximum number of weeks from the federal government, because these are both federal programs, is 50 weeks. Now, state extended benefits. States have extended your weeks of unemployment benefits. Those are states like Hawaii, New York, New Jersey. So when your state comes out and says, we're going to give you 10 extra weeks of unemployment benefits, well, that's really good. So because PEUC, which is the federal unemployment benefits, is 50 weeks. And if the state says, we're going to give you 10 extra weeks, then it's 50 plus 10, so 60 weeks. So under that scenario, your unemployment benefits would not run out on March 14th of next year. They'd run out about, April or May of next year. What else is in the bill? There's a lot of really good stuff in the bill, and there's a lot of things omitted from the bill. Let me go over the things that are omitted from the bill. First, what's omitted from the bill is a stimulus check for adult dependents, 18 years or older. What's also omitted from the bill is the issues that viewers have always had. It is taken out for child support, not taken out for debt collections. Omitted from the bill is mortgage forbearance. Crazy that it's not in there. And of course, other things, which I'll get to in a second. EIDL is back, the EIDL grant, but not for you. You're going to see a lot of people telling you that you can go get a new EIDL grant. You can't. This EIDL grant is only for businesses in low income communities. So it's a very narrowly tailored EIDL grant. What I want you to understand, and that's why I brought back EIDL, which is now on overnight LALATE. If you've not noticed, LALATE now is a 24-hour news network. Program is around the clock 24/7. Shows start at 1 o'clock in the morning. The first show on this channel at 1 o'clock in the morning is EIDL, a throwback to how to get EIDL grants and EIDL loans. Why is that important? Because the EIDL grant will be back in full form for you in January with Biden's third stimulus package. Not with this, but I want you to get ready to how to do it. I want you to be informed and educated. So tune into that show. If it's a tape show, after it airs live. So if you have questions about it, you can go back and watch it. It's on overnight LALATE. It's the first show on this channel at 1 o'clock in the morning. The remainder of your $10,000 EIDL grant and any EIDL grant you never got will come in third stimulus from Joe Biden in January. There's another round of PPP loans in this, which is really good. Also, in the second stimulus package, if you're just joining me, there's now 1,249 people in the room. Let me give you a mid update at the 15-minute mark, now that we're at the 15-minute mark of this channel. I'll also try to give you an update at the 30-minute mark of this broadcast. Where you are this morning is the following. The president is in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. The members of Congress are on vacation. Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi sent out a tweet which caused a lot of confusion where she said, I'm now sending off the bill to the president. It's now enrolled. Viewers thought that that was the new bill, the amended bill, and viewers thought it was something different and that enrollment meant something different entirely. No, it doesn't. Let me explain what she's saying. It's a bad choice of verbs and a confusing set of words. What she's saying is that the bill that was passed on Monday or Tuesday this week, the $600 stimulus check bill, has been sent to Florida by private jet. They literally printed out the 5,000 pages and sent it on a private jet. I don't know why. It's just so ridiculous. And the word enrolled or enrollment is referring to a provision that they did correctly. When you vote on a bill, you can have an additional time to extend the federal government shutdown to allow the president time to read the bill. It basically says, hey, here's some extra time to read the bill. The federal government will remain open while you read the bill. The enrollment period ends this Sunday, so the federal government will shut down on Sunday. The president has till Sunday to look at the bill. I'll go over his options of what to do. Meantime, the other breaking news across the country is a major explosion has hit the city of Nashville. Nashville is a city which I detail on this channel every day for state stimulus that has rent stimulus available for its citizens. A RV truck was parked in front of a commercial building in downtown Nashville, causing a massive explosion. Several buildings have been damaged. Several individuals have been injured. No deaths have been yet reported. It has been labeled as an international incident. Getting back to where I was going over I was going over the provisions of this bill that's on the president's table because there's some really great stuff in there, and I really only got about one day to cover it before we defaulted into the amendment issue. And I want you to know what you qualify for because there's some really good stuff in here, and this is great stuff to start your Christmas morning. If you're on SNAP, congratulations, you will get a 15% increase automatically. And provide additional food for banks and senior nutrition programs, which is also really good. Those senior nutrition programs have been a big success during this pandemic, but a lot have ran out of money or food. And so it's a $26 billion infusion. Plus, my farmers, and I know I have farmers who watch this channel in addition to the Calcino viewers and Sirloin. Sirloin got the farmers some more stimulus. No joke. The cows got more stimulus. Sirloin does a really good job at whatever he does as the cows lobbyist. If you've not met Sirloin, I'm bringing Sirloin and Javita Carran's and Javita Late and Blaine 66 back with their own show soon on this channel. But ranchers and farmers will get an additional round of stimulus checks. I don't know how they're going to come. I don't know what they're going to be called, but it's $13 billion. It's a lot of money. Next, there's going to be a series of items that are really great in here, very exciting. They're for low-income families. Low-income families are generally about $49,000 2019 earnings or lower. It doesn't matter whether you're employed or unemployed. It doesn't matter if you are on SSI or SSDI. It's generally about $49,000 or lower. So here are the great things you're going to get. First, there's going to be a new round of childcare. So it'll provide money for families who are low income for childcare assistance. This is especially helpful if one of the parents has to work. Then broadband. This has been a big hit from viewers. There'll be an enormous infusion of $7 billion to provide free broadband to low-income families. This is also going to include broadband in rural areas, farm areas, outlying areas outside of cities. Free broadband. Viewers have asked me, how do you apply? None of these things you can apply for yet. I just want you to know what's there so that you certainly say, oh, LA told me I can get broadband, I can get child services, I can get more SNAP, I can get, and so I want you to be ready to see these things you can get and to pounce. Because remember, these things are all first come, first serve. They're always that way, first come, first serve. Next, there's $45 billion for transportation, which is really good. If you're a school bus driver or you drive for Amtrak or work for Amtrak, there's a lot more money to keep you on the job. And then there's some more money for local institutions, and there's FPUC, which I somehow missed earlier on. Your $300 of FPUC would start from the day in which it became a law going forward. That causes some confusion for some viewers of this channel. Let me explain how this works. It basically says if the bill was passed, let's say January 1st, your FPUC would start that day and go forward at $300 a week uh, to March of next year. So how about the July to now? And when is and how would Joe Biden's thing change this? What Joe Biden's basically going to do is going to come in. He's going to come in, and someday in January, February, he's going to change this law, which says January forward, and he's going to say, "Okay, I've now thrown away that law. That law is no longer a law anymore. You have a new rule, which is $600 July back all the way up to the present, and then forward at $600 a week." And so you'll have 1 or 2 week. He'll just invalidate the prior law. He'll nullify it and replace it with a better law. So what does that mean? It means that 1 week, 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, you'll actually get paid $300, but then the states will have to come back and send you an additional 300, 300, 300 to catch you up to the $600 provision of what Biden's proposing. Finally, there's one last how would you say it, gimme, cherry on the top provision of this bill. It's nice if you are a sole practitioner, which I know I have a lot of viewers who are sole practitioners. Like I have a lot of Uber drivers, a lot of Grubhub drivers, Uber, Lyft, Postmates, Airbnb, side hustle. You may own I've had a pottery shop owner. I detailed him on this channel. I have a viewer who owns his own insurance agency. I had him as his own show one time on this channel. I have a lot of sole practitioners or independent contractors. Well, you get a gimme. You get a Christmas gift. And the Christmas gift is your meals are tax deductible for 2 years. Your business meals are tax deductible for 2 years. Now, this is, it would have been nice if it started next year, not this year, because no one knew that their meals are tax deductible this year. 100% tax deductible. But, it's a nice thing. It is a Trump provision. And then there's two other things that I was on the last page, which I want to get to. For schools, you're going to get some child care coverage and then rental. $25 billion of rental assistance will be provided to low-income families. This will be done by the money going to the states and then the states giving to the cities and counties. With an eviction moratorium, the CDC continuing to January 31st of next year. What's important to understand is that if you've been with me for a while, you know that on Afternoons LALATE, I had a show called Rent every single day for, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months. I was dedicated to ensuring that you knew everything about rent, even though I always laughed. It was the most unwatched show I've ever done on this channel. But it was important you knew everything about rent. At that time, the way the federal government and Nancy said the rent program was going to be done was by a federal agency set up where you would send the federal agency a copy of your lease, and then the federal agency would approve you and then pay the money to your landlord. And then with that, what would happen is the federal, everything would be set up automatically. This rent program is different. This one sends the money to the states, who then sends it to the cities and counties, and then you apply with them. It's state stimulus. It's what I talk about on Purple Power Live every day. I don't know if I particularly like it. One of the reasons I don't like it is it's slower. It's slower because it means that money has to go from here to here to here. That's the first thing. I don't know if Biden's going to stay with this process or go back to Nancy's process, which I presume he is. Second, the CDC eviction moratorium is not particularly the greatest thing in the world. People would prefer just a federal eviction moratorium, which means you don't have to do anything. It means you're protected. You can sit back and just have your donut like the donut guy. But the way they write this one, the CDC order requires you to actually print out paperwork and fill things out. And there you go. And with that, you're up to date by the minute on your second stimulus check and your second stimulus package. If you're joining me at the 23-minute mark, is there any questions before we do it live? There'll be another update at the 30-minute mark. Any questions about your UI, your PUA, your FPUC, your stimulus check? Senate keeps on saying that people who are getting unemployment don't need a check, but what about the people who are still working that they do need a check? That's a great question. Who said that question? That was an awesome question. Tonya, beautiful question. I love that. Merry Christmas, Tonya. That's a great comment. Congress is filled with a bunch of people who never worked a day in their life. Be very frank about it. Never worked a day in their life, never owned a business, never operated a business, went from college right into some business for their parents or something, and then went right to Congress. They're not economists. They have no economic background. It's really time that they start listening to economists. And the concept that people who are unemployed are getting PUA and UI, and that they shouldn't get a stimulus check on top of that, that's somehow duplicative, is really not a concern. The biggest concern is that there's not enough stimulus. It has been months that we've been going on with this, whether it's the Federal Reserve or whether it is foreign governments that say the more stimulus, the better. There's nothing bad about stimulus. There's nothing bad about a stimulus check. Imagine if you had given viewers $2,000 stimulus check every month for 6 months during the pandemic. That money would have gone into the economy. What if you had given viewers $10,000 stimulus checks the first week of December? Imagine how much retail sales there would be in the stores today when they deliver the Christmas retail sales numbers. So more stimulus is not a bad thing. Less stimulus is a bad thing. When you have very little stimulus, the economy rebounds slower, 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 and the rebound could take many, many years. So I don't know why senators are saying that. A question in the Instagram room, we're simulcast in Instagram. Question: if I still have 20 weeks of unemployment and the 13 weeks expire, will there be 20 weeks kicked in? And so, when will the next bill be passed, and when will it go back to PUA or stay with my UI extension? All right, so that's a double whammy of a question, and that's a great question. So here's the confusion. And this is and that's from Kev1105. Great question in the Instagram room where we're simulcast at LALATE underscore. The question is UI weeks expiring, PUI weeks expiring, and extended weeks of expiring. So let me explain how this works. PUA, which is unemployment for independent contractors, gig workers, never existed before March. It was created under CARES Act 1. If you were an Uber Lyft driver, you would never have gotten unemployment assistance as an independent contractor until it was created. PUA was created in March. It expires this Sunday. States cannot extend PUA. It's a federal instrument. It's not their instrument. They cannot extend it. Now, what they can do is they can take your PUA file and switch you from PUA to UI, unemployment assistance, or leave you PUA but call you something else and pay you something else. It's just not PUA anymore. It may look like PUA, but it's not PUA. So what her question is, will my PUA run out this weekend? Yes. Everyone's PUA will run out this weekend or has run out. There is nothing a state can do except switch you to something else and provide you coverage under something else. So PEUC is the weeks of unemployment assistance from the federal government that covers UI. If you have been unemployed since March or February, all your weeks will run out by this weekend, unless your state, and as her question said, gave her additional weeks of UI. That means her additional weeks of UI will kick in and cover her past this weekend. And there you go. Any other questions before I give you an update at the 30-minute mark? They moved my UI to PUA. I think you probably mean the reverse. They moved my PUA to UI because PUA. Okay. Well, let me also answer that question as well. Some people were switched from UI to PUA. I think your states may have to switch you back from PUA to UI because PUA is going to disappear as well. New York has additional weeks of benefits. It does. So does Illinois and New Jersey and and Hawaii. Someone just asked a great question. We need to get together and remove McConnell and his group. They always block stimulus. Where are they now? Merry Christmas from Texas. What do you mean about the right language? I don't know what question that was referring to. When when is the SSA going to come? So the SSI, the SSDI, the Social Security, the $2,400, the $200 a month that goes on top of your existing benefits is a proposed Biden stimulus package that includes that up to 20% lifetime increase and the new benchmark. That would come in January. Another person just asked the same question, Richard, when are we getting the $200 more for SSI? So this is a Biden third stimulus package. You're going to hear me on this channel mention the word third stimulus check and third stimulus package. Third, not second. And that's why there's a new hit show on Afternoons LA. I didn't have it yesterday because we were too busy. The third stimulus check and third stimulus package has a lot of things in there, like MSC, hazard pay, EIDL grant, and SSI, SSDI, $2,400. When are we actually physically going to get it? Your first check would presumably, if they do it right and they get it passed, it would happen in February. You would get March and February's check together. Why would you physically not get a check in January? Because by the time they would vote on anything, the fastest way they could vote on something, your January benefits check for SSI has probably already been mailed. So it's too late to put it on top of that check. So by the February check would likely have $400 on it, top of it, to get you caught up to date. Merry Christmas. Child support and debts. Yes. So the stimulus check is taken out for child support, is not taken out for debts. And now you're up to date. Let me give you the latest. And now at the 30-minute mark, let me give you another update where you are on your second stimulus check and second stimulus package and what's going on with that $2,000 stimulus check right now. Where you are right now, and this is new at the 30-minute mark, and thank you for joining me, is that two attempts yesterday to get you to $2,000 stimulus check failed. And the attempts will continue on Monday, and by all accounts, it'll fail again. Let me explain what's going on with the current bill and what's going on with the $2,000 stimulus check bill. Yesterday, well, let me back up to what's happening this morning. What's happening this morning is a copy of the stimulus check bill, the $600 stimulus check bill, is being flown by a private jet from Washington, D.C. to Florida, printed version, the 5,000-page bill, where the president is staying at Mar-a-Lago till potentially New Year's Day. That bill will allow the president to take a look at it. The bill is enrolled, or is called, it has been enrolled. What does enrollment of a bill mean? It means that the bill has a provision in there to keep the federal government open till this Sunday to allow the president time to look at the bill. The bill will allow the president time to review it and make a decision before the federal government shuts down. The federal government will shut down on Sunday if the president doesn't do anything with the $600 with the 5,000-page bill. The bill was sent to the president, but Nancy Pelosi's tweet yesterday made it sound like she was sending a new bill and that the new bill has been changed. No, all she meant was she had sent the prior bill, the $600 stimulus check bill that was passed by act of Congress earlier this week, to the president in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. And there it is. Next up, the federal government will close on Sunday. The federal government will shut down on Sunday if the president does nothing. Second, PEUC will expire on Sunday, formally, even though it has expired in some states across the country. An eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance will expire next as well. The issues at hand for yesterday and Monday are the following. The president, in a videotaped message on Twitter shortly after, I think it was Tuesday after 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, recorded a message saying, I won't sign this bill because of 4 items. Those 4 items were, he wanted the stimulus check from $600 raised to $2,000. Second, he wanted $8 billion given to foreign countries removed. Third, he wanted $1 billion given to museums removed. And then lastly, he wanted a provision concerning spouses of undocumented citizens removed. There were 4 items, repeat. 4 items he wanted removed, and he asked for those 4 items to be removed by amendment. Again, 4 items. So what did Congress do yesterday? Not follow him. Neither party followed his wishes. Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi's team in the House, the Democrats, called a vote. And that vote in the Democrats was to fix 1 of the 4 items. It failed. The Republicans, on the other hand, called a vote on to fix 2 of the 4 items, and that failed. And so on Monday, what is Nancy Pelosi going to do? Again, she's going to call a complete vote, not a partial vote like yesterday, revising 1 of the 4 items. And that will pass the House, but land in the Senate, and will thereafter fail. So why are they doing this? It's called partisanship. We're back on that merry-go-round again. What is the partisan line this time? The Democrats don't want to remove 3 of the 4 items. The Republicans don't want to support 1 of the 4 items. So suddenly the lines are drawn where one side doesn't want to remove all 4 and the other side doesn't want to remove all 4. No one wants to follow the president's instructions. By not following the president's instructions, they're going to end up with something the president won't sign at any time, and then the bill will lapse and will go right into the Biden administration. That is unfortunate, and again, it's partisanship. Sadly, broadcast news is not reporting it accurately. And broadcast news is only doing one half of the story. This is what broadcast news is saying. They're saying that the Republicans are blocking your $2,000 stimulus check. Well, that's not exactly the correct story. Let me tell you what is the story. This story is that the Democrats want to fix one item, the $600 to $2,000 stimulus check, but want to leave in $8 billion to the countries like Cambodia, Kenya, countries around the world, $8 billion put into an emergency stimulus check bill that has nothing to do with world countries, has nothing to do with them, and is an emergency bill. She refuses to remove it, admits that it was the Democrats that put it in, and refuses to take it out. The other item that she put in there, that she did author and she put in there and is refusing to take out, is a $1 billion renovation to the Smithsonian Institute Museum in Washington, D.C. Also opponent, refuses to take that out as well. So there is where the Democrats are battling. Want to amend the check, but don't want to take out two horrible provisions about foreign governments and a museum. On the other side, the Republicans are doing deflection. The Republicans are not talking about the stimulus check for obvious reasons, but are talking about the foreign governments and the museums. They want to take the museums out and they want to take the foreign governments out, but they're not talking about switching the $600 stimulus check to 2000. So you see both sides are playing partisan games, and ultimately the news media is only reporting the partisan games of the Republicans. So what will happen next week? Nancy will pass everything in the House. Then it will go to the Senate. What will happen in the Senate? These are the four options of what will happen. And this is my prediction about what I think may happen. First, Nancy's bill will pass the House, go to the Senate. And the first option is Mitch will do nothing. I think nothing is catastrophic politically. Nothing means he'll just sit on it and never call for a vote. Yesterday, Roy Blunt, the leading Republican in the Senate, said that's potentially one thing that could happen. The next thing that could happen is that Mitch McConnell could write a bill that does exactly what happened yesterday. Take out those foreign governments, take out the museums, but leave the $600 stimulus check in there, and pass it in the Senate. What would that do? Much of nothing, because again, that's not what the president asked for. And it only takes the president saying, why are you amending two of the four provisions? I asked for four of the four provisions to be done. So what is the last option? I think the last option, thank you for the super chat. I think the last option is the one that Mitch will do, and I think it's the only option Mitch should do. That option that Mitch should do is he'll receive Nancy's bill that fixes one of four items, and then Mitch will say, you know what? I'm calling my own vote on my own bill that does exactly what the President of the United States told me to do. He's the leader of my party, and I'm going to do what he told me to do. And so I am amending all four items. He will call for a vote, and it'll either pass or die. But I think that his effort to at least do exactly what the president says for him to do is the correct thing, and that will save his position in the Senate and may save his two Senate seats in Georgia. By doing what he's supposed to do, ultimately the only way the bill will fail is the Ron Johnsons of the world, the miserly Republicans who don't want to spend it. Thank you, Stephanie, for the super chat. The miserly Republicans who don't want to spend any money. But if Mitch does the right thing, he will be the only one doing the right thing, because Nancy's not. She's only doing one of four. Ron Johnson's, those people won't be doing the right thing. Mitch should only do the right thing, which is all four of the four provisions, and let it either win or die. And if it dies, then negotiations continue between the Republicans or Democrats. If they don't want to negotiate, there you go. But at least Mitch did the right thing. And now you're up to date at the 38-minute mark. What do we need to do, LA? The message for Mitch should be change all four things. The message for Mitch is change all four things. The message for the Democrats is change all four things. The AOC, the Democrats, the progressives really think that people are dumb, and it's really not cool that they are playing this game that people only heard one provision to change when it was four provisions to change. And so we need to make it very clear that four provisions were supposed to be changed. The $8 billion to foreign governments, the $1 billion to the Smithsonian, The fourth one I don't talk about too much because it's actually not accurate what he was talking about the president. But he asked for four things, and he asked for the stimulus check. What you should be doing is telling AOC what is AOC. AOC is an elected official. Her Twitter handle is AOC. You should be telling elected officials on Twitter, hey, the president asked for three things to be fixed. Do all three things. You're not following the instructions of the president. Every time that elected officials go on Twitter and say, I did this and I did that, the response is no. You're supposed to do three things. You only did one thing. And why are you just doing one of the three things? Um, Trump wants the 2 grand. It's Pelosi's foreign. That's the problem. Says Mike. That's true. But on the other side, you have Republicans who are going to not do the 2 grand, but are going to do the foreign government. So remember, you have both sides not doing it right. One wants to take one thing out, another one wants to take the other thing out. Neither side wants to take both things out. So you need to tell them you need to all take everything out. Stop playing games. Don't act like the American people didn't hear what the president said. You can even take his video and just retag his video at them and say, listen, he didn't say, he said to take out three things, four things. Why are you taking out one thing? The hashtag campaign is hashtag stimulus check 2000. It's a little too early to see what Mitch is going to do between now and Monday. But we will see more clarity. Yesterday, Roy Blunt came out with those really sort of confusing comments. I think you should discount them. But with that, you're up to date at the on your mornings LA. I'll see you later today on noontime on LALATE. Thank you again for joining me. If you did not catch the top of the hour, this is LALATE's 8th-month birthday today. Today is the 8th-month birthday of LALATE. On April 25th, I was drunk then. On April 25th, after having a few drinks, I decided to press record on the camera. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea why I was doing it. But I said, you know, my friends are asking questions about EIDL. I know what PUA is. I know how to apply for a PUA. People don't know how to do a PUA application. Maybe I should make a recording on this. And in front of a deserted beach in Manhattan, in Hermosa Beach, due to a lockdown, I press record. The rest is history. This channel has only been around in 8 months, and I appreciate your support and progress. Continue to subscribe. Go to the Friends channel and hit the subscribe button, hit the alert button. The more you help this channel grow, the better it helps. Currently, the algorithm of YouTube is doing strange things, and one of the strange things the YouTube algorithm is doing is it's putting channels that are older and more established, that have more followers than 350,000, that have more followers. They're putting their results first in the search results. So the more you subscribe, the more you tell other people to subscribe, the more you like this video, it helps push back against that algorithm nuance in the moment of putting bigger channels that are older, that may not be so up to date, lower in the rankings, and helps put us higher in the rankings. With that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you for joining me on last night's live broadcast. I had a ball. Thank you to the wonderful viewers who have made this family. You know, over the time of this recording, we have lost some viewers on this channel. They have been remembered throughout time and time. I've had viewers who passed suddenly, who passed abruptly, or whose stress of this pandemic was too much. I appreciate you for keeping me in your wishes, and I appreciate you for telling me on the first week of this channel, keep us positive, keep us motivated, because that was what made the difference. It was very stressful, this pandemic, when this pandemic first hit. And if you watched me in the early days of this recording, I was dealing with a lot of scary things happening from viewers, and I had problems recording on camera with it. And so with that, Merry Christmas. Have a great 25th. I'll see you throughout the day. I'll be recording on a normal schedule. And happy birthday to LLN as well. Have a great morning. See you later.